guys came in here and said they still feel like they can play better. You know, and what's that like for you as a coach, seeing your guys, you know, just never satisfied?
I like it. It's a win, and I'll take it. But you know, the first words that I said to those guys in the locker room was, "That's not the standard." The way we just kind of stumbled our way to the finish line. We could be better. Could have been better. But that's a team. That's a young team, and they got some foot speed, and those guys are attacking guards, and gave us a little trouble. You know, it's part of it. But we could have been better on both ends of the floor. Our communication was nowhere tonight. We just didn't talk as much as we needed to, and it caused us some problems on the defensive end and on the offensive end.
Yeah, did you try to or expect to turn these guys over more?
I think you coming into a game, I mean, we want to impose our will on teams. You hope that you can get them to turn the ball over, and it keeps them from getting the shot up, or it could be, you know, us getting out in transition and getting the easy basket. But we just wanted to keep. I just felt like if we kept our half-court defense in front of these guys, I felt good about that without opening the game up. Us turning the ball over, those guys getting out in transition. We talked about Brown for the last couple of days, about running him off the three-point line, and again, it didn't happen. He was 5 for 6 from three. So we got lucky from that standpoint. We made it hard on a lot of the other guys because of our defensive pressure.
When you know, when he started going off, I might have expected you to throw Jaleel on him sooner. It wasn't maybe with 7-8 minute mark to go is when it looked like he really got assigned to him.
You typically don't want to put your best defender on a spot up shoot, and that's not to take anything away from Brown. I think he's a terrific player, but I was more concerned about Reynolds. I was more concerned about Greer, because those guys are aggressive and getting downhill and getting paint touches. And those are the guys that collapse the defense. You know, they're the playmakers out there that allow a guy like Brown to be effective out there. So those guys I had a lot of concern about.
Aaron, what was the message at halftime? Again, another game where guys start off a little slow and then come out in the second half and score efficiently. You know, what was that conversation like at the end?
We were relying on shot making too much, and it was honestly, you know, how these guys are wired sometimes. You know, and I call teams like that feel-good teams, because when the ball is going in the basket, you know, everybody's feeling good about themselves. They play with a little bit more energy. But the really good teams, when that ball is not going in the basket, they still find that energy source that they need to defend and generate points from other areas. If it's offensive rebounding, if it's, you know, turning teams over, getting out in transition. And so we're a work in progress when it comes to that. I think our defense is getting better, but I want our focus to be on that defensive side and worry about that and concern themselves with when we missing defensive assignments or box outs.
I know there's been a lot of talk around the city, but through you guys, it's like 3 Big 5 games. It looks like the players still care very much about that tradition. As a, you know, an old school Big 5 guy like yourself, would you like to see that the players still want to carry that tradition along, especially in an era where you don't have as many local guys on these teams, as you know, you had back a year ago?
A lot of these guys spend the entire summer playing against each other. Penn, Temple, Sal, Villanova. So they rotate gyms and they play against each other, and you know, they talk about it. You know, it's always you fighting for bragging rights. It's the same thing when I was playing. You know, we played in the Sunny Hill League against the guys from the other Big 5 schools, and it's fun. It's good banter, and you just kind of needle guys about it. But every game for us is a big game. Big 5, American, 9 conference. Every game is a big game, and that's my approach, and that's my team's approach.
Aaron, in that last 5 minutes, they were in contention up until like the last 5 minutes. What do you think you did in that stretch to pull away and take control of the game?
We just switched our defensive coverage a little bit. We just started switching ball screens. I thought when we were getting out and showing on ball screens, those guys were hitting the big guys rolling to the basket. So we wanted to switch some out on the perimeter to just keep their guards in front of us and, you know, contest, be disciplined and contest and rebound the ball and come down and, run our offense. So we're in a lot of close games, and we're figuring some things out down the stretch. And I want to be able to, when we have opportunities in games to get some good separation, I want our guys to get to the point where we can start doing that a lot better, and it don't have to be a nail biter down the stretch.
Did you feel as though they kept the boys were focused on the task at hand in front of you in that last 5 minutes or so?
Not as much as I would have liked. Again, we won the game. We finished the game. We had a few turnovers down the stretch, but our enemy was the clock coming down the stretch, because I knew those guys was going to be just blowing the ball down and pushing the ball down the floor. The enemy was the clock, and I just wanted to get a good shot up down the floor every time and have good, solid defensive floor balance.
Is Damian finding guys? Assist numbers up in the last couple games. Is he finding guys a little better, or I don't know? Is it just?
Yeah, I mean, we're putting it in his hands a little bit more. So he's going to be in those situations late in games for us where he has to be a decision maker, whether it's playing out of the screen and roll to go and score, or playing out of the screen and roll to go find somebody. So it's part of his job. And I would get on him about his assist to turnover ratio up to this point, which wasn't great. So he's starting to do a better job of taking care of the ball. So we're going to need that from him, and he needs to continue to improve to take care of the ball.
When you look at Zach tonight, his jumper wasn't falling, but he still was able to get you guys 10 points and 10 rebounds. You talk about, how the conversations you guys had with him, where it's, use that 6'9" frame to kind of do some more of the dirty work.
It's basketball. I mean, again, I talked about early on about offense. We can't hang our hat on offense. You obviously have to score the ball, but when the shots are not falling, there's other ways that you can impact the game. And those are the little winning things that each and every player on the team can do. You have your guys that's going to be designated to shoot and score and all of those things, and they're going to have off nights. We started off ice cold, couldn't make a shot, but they stayed with it. I thought Zach did a really good job of rebounding the ball in the first half, and that's something that I know he's capable of. I know Zach can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. He needs to start doing that more, start getting to the free throw line more, start offensive rebounding a little bit more. So, we talked about that in the summer about him expanding his game. He got good size. He can shoot the ball. He got sometimes matchups where we want to try to post him up sometimes.
With Nick, it seemed like he was a bit indecisive to shoot the ball in the first half. Is that something you guys talked about? Because he seemed more up to shooting the ball in the second half and trying to get a layup in the second half.
We had some opportunities in the first half when we were throwing him the ball on the roll. And for some odd reason, he was reluctant to shoot. I don't know if it was his balance or whatever. And we spend a lot of time talking to our big guys about when they set ball screens and they roll, look to kick it out. Now, I don't know if that's what he was thinking about or if he was off balance. I prefer him, if he's that deep, to go ahead and just throw it up there to finish the play. So I thought he did a better job in the second half of attacking the rim, and we're going to need that from him.
Aaron, all of that, Nick's been the center that's been closing out games lately. Is there anything that you've seen from him that made you want to put him in that role in the past couple games?
Well, I'm comfortable with him, especially late in games. If you have a lead and teams start to press you, we have him take the ball out and he gets to the middle of the floor and he can make decisions for us there. So it gives us an extra ball handler where you have 5 guys out there that can handle the ball, and we can break the press with that and get into what we need to do. He got good foot speed, he got size, athleticism. So even if somebody's covering him in the middle, we can throw it up high and he can go and he can get it. So I've been comfortable. I was comfortable with him last year doing that, and he's been comfortable with the role and growing into that role. So these last few games that we've had, we've been having a lot of success with him being in the late games for us.
Coach, I know you said every game matters, but what does it mean for you as your 4th year coaching here? What does the co-lead of the Big Five mean for you? And are you looking forward to this weekend to trying to take the sole lead of it this week?
It means a lot. I mean, it's a win, but it's something that I've been a part of my entire life, for the most part, whether it was as a fan, as a player, and now as a coach. So, you can put your name in the history books. So I get excited about it, but we got a long way to go during the season, and this is step one. We have the Big Five stuff that we'll be wrapping up on Saturday. We got the American Conference that's coming soon. So we still got a lot of work ahead of us. You know, we got Penn ahead of us. I don't want to skip any steps. That's a really good team. They're hard to guard and hard to play against. So I want to enjoy this and flush this one and start preparing for Penn and see what happens on Saturday.
How much do you think getting revenge for last year was? How much of a motivation factor do you think getting revenge for last year was for your players?
None. I think our focus was winning the game. I can't say revenge because most of the guys that were here are gone now. So again, the approach is come out, play hard. We want to win the game and block out all the other stuff because you don't want to have emotional reactions to games or knee-jerk reactions to games because of what happened in the past or, you know, whatever the case may be. But, you know, we wanted to win the game, and that's what mattered the most.
Thanks, guys.